as you can see now that I have extended my presentation to have more slides. Now I am clicking on the left pane and I can move through the slides by clicking on the down arrow to move through the different slides in the presentation. You can see that all the slides have exactly the same style of formatting. And as you can see that I have missed out on one of the parts deliberately. Parts of a computer were input devices, output devices had been missed out. I have created a slide for memory and I have created a slide for CPU. Now let's say I want to create a slide for output devices, and since I want to maintain the same formatting so that there appears a uniformity across the presentation, so what I had actually done was I had used the concept of duplicating a slide. Now let me go to the last slide, that is containing information about CPU. I right click on that and use the option duplicate slide. As I select duplicate slide, you will find there are two slides now with CPU information written because I have duplicated the slide. The advantage of duplication is that I just need to change the content without bothering about the formatting. So as I had skipped out on adding a slide on output devices, now I will change the content of this slide. CPU, instead of CPU, now it is output devices. And in output devices, there are two items: printers and plotters. The third item is not required, so I will just delete it. So this is how now I have created a slide for output devices, and it has exactly the same formatting as the other slides. Now you can see whether it's CPU, memory, input devices, output devices, parts of computer, they have exactly the same look. There's another problem now. In the listing you can see output devices should come after input devices, whereas I have created that slide after the CPU slide. I can also drag and drop my slides from one position to other position. Now how will that be done? I'll just position myself on the slide for output devices, as you can see, and keeping the left mouse button pressed, I will drag the slide upwards. Now you can see the slide is going to move. The orange line indicates that if I leave my mouse pointer right now, it will be dropped there, but I want to bring it after input devices. So as the orange line comes after input devices, I drop my slide here. So now if you look at the order has become perfect now. First I have a slide for input devices, then output devices, then memory, and then CPU. So in the order that I had given the listing. So this was to demonstrate that I can duplicate my slides as well as move my slides just like a normal PowerPoint presentation. An advantage of working in Google Sheets is that you can share the presentation with your collaborators. Multiple people can work on the same presentation at the same time. So if I want to share my presentation with one of my colleagues, I can click on share and I can specify the email ID of that person. Now here I am writing my own email ID, which is not on my free domain. After pressing enter, you can see what role do you want to give to this person with whom you are sharing this file. Do you want that person to edit the file or just view the file or just give comments? If I am working with a collaborator, I would give that person editor rights. So I choose the editor role for the person with whom I am sharing my presentation so that that person can make changes to my presentation. And notify will send a mail to the person that the document has been shared, and then I just say send. So this document or the sheet sorry, the slide is going to be sent to the drive of the other person. And it gives me a warning since this email ID is out of Metri domain. So it is asking me, reconfirming, and I will say share anyway. So now this file has been shared with a collaborator of mine who's outside Metri domain. Now next, when we had started with the presentation, we had associated a theme with the presentation. But suppose now I don't want to work with any theme. So can I remove the theme from the presentation, or am I stuck up with this? No, you can always leave the theme and come back to the simple looks of the presentation once again. For that, you will go to the top of the themes list, and at the very top, the first theme is simple light theme, to which no frills have been added. And now your presentation changes to a simple presentation.